Hi guys, today we're going to make a super simple egg fried rice. There's a few ingredients in the egg fried rice that you just can't skip out on, and that is a really great soy sauce. I like to use Marca Pina soy sauce because I'm half Filipino, and that is a soy sauce of soy sauces. And then also sweet onions and garlic. You definitely have to have sweet onion, and you definitely have to have garlic. That kind of makes the whole dish, in my opinion. I'm also going to finely dice 1 to 2 small carrots and a ton of jalapenos and red peppers. This is totally optional. We just like our fried rice spicy. If you don't, just skip that. Also green onions and of course 5 large cloves of garlic, not minced too finely though. I'm also going to use 4 large farm fresh eggs. You can use more than that if you want to. I just added a pinch of salt to my egg mixture, and now I'm going to fry these up. I added about a tablespoon of avocado oil to my wok, and I like to cook my eggs on medium heat because I don't want to toast my eggs. I just want them to be perfectly cooked and fluffy. Now it's time to cook our vegetables, and we're going to start with the onions, and I've got about 1 to 2 tablespoons of avocado oil in my wok, and we're just going to cook these until they become translucent, and then we're going to add our garlic. Now I do add a little pinch of salt to my onions because I feel like it brings out the flavor, but I wanted to mention we're doing all of our vegetables in a certain order because they all cook at different times. And normally people like to cook their garlic first, but in this dish we don't want our garlic to be overcooked or too toasty, so we're doing our onions first and then we're going to do our garlic. And the reason I cook my onions first is because it just makes them super soft and they kind of dissolve into the dish, and that's what I like. You can add more carrots to your rice if you like. I do not like a lot of carrots in my fried rice. That's why I chop them pretty finely, but I'm going to go ahead and saute these carrots in my mixture until they're just slightly tender. Now it's time to add in our green onions and peppers, and we're just going to saute these for about 30 seconds. They don't need to cook for very long. I also only added half of my green onions because I like more of a raw green onion on top of my rice at the end. Now it's time to add yesterday's rice or cooled rice. So you can cook this rice the day before or the morning of. You just got to make sure that it cools completely. Otherwise, if you use fresh rice, you're going to end up with a wok full of mush. Now I keep some of the rice aside. I don't add it to the wok right away, just in case I add too much soy sauce. So you just want to add enough soy sauce until the rice is completely coated and a nice golden brown. And if you end up adding too much and it's too salty, then that's when you take that rice that you set aside and add it to your wok. Now I do eventually add in the extra rice, and if I need to add a little bit more soy sauce, I do. It's just kind of a backup plan in case I oversalt, because there have been a few times where I've been a little heavy-handed on the soy sauce, so take my word for it and do that. Also, we're going to add in our peas and our eggs last because we don't want to cook either of these too long, and then we're going to toss this around until everything is heated all the way through. Also, the amount of rice that I use is 3 cups of cooked rice, so it ends up being quite a bit of rice, and it's enough to feed a family of 5. So just to be extra clear, you're going to cook 3 cups of rice. I'm not sure what it ends up being after it's been cooked, but it's definitely way more than 3 cups. Now it's time for a moment of controversy. You can add MSG or salt to this. Obviously, I'm half Asian. I am pro MSG. You could do your own research and studies on MSG, but if you're going to use MSG, make sure you use MSG from the Asian market that's derived from seaweed, because that's the best kind, and you're only going to add a pinch, less than the amount that you'd use for salt. Also, I added a drizzle of palm sugar to my rice. You can use any sugar you like. I just happen to like palm sugar. Then you're going to give it a good toss and plate it up. I also cooked up some pork belly, and that's what I'm serving my rice with. And if you'd like to see how I made my pork belly, stay tuned because I'm going to show you at the end of this video. Also, another option for topping on this rice is fresh cut cilantro. I love cilantro in my spicy fried rice, so if you want to try that out, do try it. I also like to pack Garrett's lunches in mason jars. He really likes that and it works out perfectly. Okay, let's have a crash course in pork belly. So I bake my pork belly at 375 degrees and I pre-slice just the skin on the top before I cook it. I lost that footage sadly, or I would show it to you here. Once it's done, it takes about an hour and a half. Once it's done, I slice it. And you'll see that because I pre-sliced the skin on the top, which is super crunchy and delicious, it just makes it easier for me to slice these up into 1-inch slices. And you'll see here that even the bottom of the pork belly is crispy like the skin on the top, so I have to kind of cut through that a little bit. That's the best part though. That's my guilty pleasure with pork belly. Ready? Now we're going to cook it a second time in the wok, and we're not going to add any oil to our wok because pork belly is super fatty and has its own oils already. Plus, I have plenty of drippings in my pan that I could put in here if I need some extra oil. So we're going to brown these a little bit on each side, and then we're going to add some sake, mirin, and soy sauce. And I don't have an exact measurement for either of these. It's kind of just one of those things. A splash of soy sauce. You can't use too much sake. I would say I used about a little less than 1/4 cup of sake, and then maybe 1 to 2 tablespoons of mirin. And the soy sauce was probably about 1 to 2 tablespoons as well. I'm sorry I didn't get that footage on here. Our camera was acting up today and we lost a bunch of footage. So we are going to fry these up until they turn a nice golden brown. You don't need them to cook too long, and you'll notice that you're going to get some kind of sticky residue at the bottom of your pan that's starting to glaze. That's from the sugar and the mirin. To deglaze your pan, all you have to do is add some alcohol. I just add the sake in there, and that will clean my pan up for me at the end, which I will show you in just a moment. So once these are golden brown, you're going to remove them from the pan, and they are going to taste so sweet and delicious. You're just going to love this. And here is my disclaimer. This is not a healthy meal. This is a once in a great while type of meal. And here's that tip on cleaning your pan anytime you use sugar when you're cooking meats. To deglaze the pan, you're just going to use a little bit of alcohol. I use sake, you can use white wine. It doesn't take much and it works perfectly. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you try this recipe out. It's super delicious, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Wow.
That probably wasn't the best.
There. Now the skin's off.